I could talk for an hour on the lessons I've learned in restoring my daddy's car. Many of you already know that when you have an antique or classic car, it's hard to find a mechanic that knows your specific car. A lot of that knowledge and those mechanics have died out. Unless there's a mechanic who has had that knowledge passed down to him or her. You will, along the journey, run into mechanics that claim they can do it, shops who say they have the actual part, and other places that may give you the impression that they know. But afterwards, you will find out some of them do not. But there are some mechanics that may know or specialize in certain areas of an antique or classic car. And once you find them, they become a treasure to you. There does come a time when you have to take the leap of faith and trust somebody to work on your classic car. I remember hearing Jay Leno on one of his episodes of Jay Leno's Garage say that if you have a Lincoln, especially the type that Jay Leno owned, you have to have the guy, the specialist, the Lincoln man. And Jay Leno's Lincoln man is John Cashman. I had the privilege to speak with John. The only thing is, he did not specialize in the Continentals from the year 69 to 1971. John Cashman's specialty was the Lincoln Continental convertibles, 1961 to 1967. He was a great guy to speak with and very helpful. I was honored to speak with him. I will admit, if John worked on the Mark IIIs, I would have paid his price. A lot of times, these mechanics may not be found in your city or town, and you have to search for them in other states, which adds to the cost of the restoration. It's funny, sometimes I would think, the money that I paid to have it shipped to certain places, I could have used that money in the restoration of the car. Don't forget, the key word in part 1 was, I tried. In part 1 of these series of videos, I mentioned that I tried so hard to keep my daddy's car original, but I hope that the Lincoln and the Continental community are not so disappointed with me in the minor changes that I made to my daddy's car. Let's take a look at the engine and the minor changes I made to it. Believe me, I struggled for a while before making these changes, but I had my own personal reasoning. I'll try to move quickly through this section, but the first thing was the carburetor. This section also may not be in chronological order. Some of these changes overlap. But my daddy's car started jerking and backfiring, so I sent it to a shop that said that the carburetor had a leak in it and that it needed to be rebuilt. I gave the okay, and they swapped it out. That carburetor worked for quite a while and then started acting up. So I had a local retired mechanic to look at it, and we came to the conclusion that it needed to be swapped out. Long story, but I'll make it short. The carburetor was put on to the Mark III, and gas poured from it. So the mechanic had to send it back and order another rebuilt carburetor. The 1970 Continental Mark III comes with a 4-barrel carburetor, a V8, producing 365 horsepower. Of course, with the 460 engine built by the Ford Motor Company. Now the third carburetor, the local mechanic put that on. It acted up at first, but we got it going. I tried to do some research and study myself on how to adjust it. But one day, it happened. The Continental left me stranded about 2 miles from my home. This is the actual footage when I came to the conclusion that I have had enough. I was tired and now getting frustrated. I will not get into the debate between Holly and Elder Brock carburetors. I chose Elder Brock. When I mentioned earlier about the Mark III backfiring, we had to look at the points under the distributor cap. It's hard to adjust the points when you don't know what you're doing. As I mentioned, some of that understanding mechanics don't know today, although there are some that do. I got to the point I wanted to go another way, so I had the points removed and made the Mark III with an electronic ignition. So that was changed out along with the ignition coil. So the Mark III became electronic ignition. The hose that run from the radiator normally hangs down beside it. So if there's any overflow, the radiator fluid will run on the ground. I was thinking actually of my brother's nice driveway, so I ordered a universal radiator overflow bottle, which serves as a reservoir for the antifreeze. Oh yes, I've made mistakes along the way in restoring my daddy's car. Some of these mistakes were not my fault. I've even had to do some do-overs, meaning things that I paid for along the way, I had to go back and pay someone else again to do it over. And I really don't like do-overs. I don't know why, but it would bother me at times when I would see one side of the headlights open, as if the Mark III was winking her eye at me. Yes, if you think of it on those terms, it was cute. She was winking at me. Mark III owners know about the headlight vacuum actuators. I was going to have the canisters replaced. Yes, they cost just like everything else. I decided not to purchase those and instead got the electric headlight motors. My original ones would make a little noise opening and shutting, and these do the same. You normally don't think about your tires dry rotting, but I opened the garage door one day and noticed something sticking out from under the fender of the Mark III, only to find this. I wasn't going to take the chance on the other 3 tires being good, so I thought if one is dry rotted, then the others are also. So now new tires in the budget. So now I'm looking at my rusty tar rims. But what could I do? So I did some research and decided, hey, I'll have them power coated. Great job with the power coating, but I wasn't thinking at the time that when an object is power coated, it puts a little extra thickness to the object. So once I brought the tires home, it was hard to get the rims onto the Continental. So I had to wear off in the center loop a little film of the power coating in order to get the tires back on. The 70 Mark III's interior is made up of leather and vinyl due to the care and the cost. I had it all reupholstered back in vinyl only. Every person is different, but I think it's hard having your car restored in a different state than where you live, because you always want to take a look at the progress. As we come to the end of this video, all of the minor changes that I made to my daddy's car are simple and can be reversed if I choose to in the future. Thank you for staying with me as we take this journey of the restoration of JL's car.